Hi, it's Christine with Homes by Christine and co-founder of Almost Fit. Now today I have my buddy Chuck Sandlin, otherwise known as Charles Sandlin. Now I invited Charles or Chuck here today because he is running for City Council of Camarillo. And as you guys all know, I'm very much into educating yourself about who is in your community, what they're doing, especially when you're voting for them. Now November 8th is election day, and I challenge all of you guys to go out there and vote. But before you vote, go educate yourself. Find out who's running. Now, Chuck is just a good example of one candidate. Agree with him or not, it's just your reminder, go vote. And I'm gonna probably say this like 30 times during this, go vote, because I think you need to go vote. So, Chuck, thank you so much for coming in.
Thank you for having me, Christine. Appreciate that.
So I just wanted to introduce Chuck, and I wanted him to let us know where are you from, and give me a little bit of your background.
Born and raised in the city of Camarillo my whole life. I grew up here. My family's been here since the 70s. And I started out mowing lawns in my neighborhood for work. Then I was a paper boy and delivered papers all over my neighborhood. Then my dad started this company called the Roadrunner Shuttle. I helped him day one when he started that company with one
I've
van.
heard of it.
Great company, great organization. We grew that to over 300 vehicles and 600 employees within the city of Camarillo. And it was great transportation infrastructure. We ended up taking over and running the City of Camarillo dial-a-ride service. We helped improve that service, provided more service for less cost for the City of Camarillo. In 2012, when I was chairman of the board for the Chamber of Commerce, we ended up, and also CEO of Roadrunner, we took over the Ventura County Transportation Commission bus service because the Ventura County Transportation Commission came to us and said, our bus service provider is going to be bankrupt and stop service in 30 days. Mm-hmm. And we need a provider. We need somebody to come step up and help us continue to provide the service for the citizens. And so my family and I got together and we put a plan in place with leadership. We went out and bought 30 vehicles and hired the drivers and trained them and got everything ready. So within 30 days of us finding out that the Ventura County bus service was going to stop, we ended up putting a plan and the leadership in place to be able to continue that service seamlessly so nobody missed a ride.
That's pretty amazing. And it just goes to show the community service that your family instilled in you through your company to really help out the community. You guys saw a need, you guys had a business, which is so amazing when the stars align like that and you have a business that makes a profit to help a city that has a need. And you guys are able to meet that need. So that is so cool. So as far as city council goes, tell me what a city council person does and what brought you to this point. Obviously, you've had this background of service, but let's start out by telling me what a city council member does.
First and foremost, I believe a city council member is to keep the city safe and the citizens and the people of the community safe. And part of that is adopting a budget for the city of Camarillo, for the police, mm-hmm. to make sure they have the adequate resources to do what they need to do to be able to keep our city safe. We have a lot of crime that's going on from these gangs from Southern America that come up across the border and they're raiding our houses right here in Camarillo. People are stealing Cadillac converters from cars right in our driveways. And I believe the city needs the resources, the police department, the sheriff's department needs the resources to be able to combat these new threats that are happening right here in our city.
100%.
Also, what the city council member does is oversees the city manager and the city auditor and also other city services such as transportation, city infrastructure such as water, which is a big issue right now. Mm-hmm. I believe if the city council would have invested in water infrastructure 30, 40 years ago, we wouldn't be in the situation we are today. Now, we do have a desalter plant that's coming on board that was supposed to come on board 2 years ago and probably would have mitigated a lot of these issues we have with water today. But it's still not yet on board. And when it does come on board, it's only going to be built to half of what it was designed to do because of state regulations. And so true planning for the city future infrastructure, I believe, is what a good city council member will do.
Well, and as far as that goes, the desalination plant, that's what that is, correct?
Yes.
So you said it could only be up to par, like halfway. So how do you get it fully functioning to help our water situation?
Well, really, it's the rules and regulations of Sacramento that allow that system to operate only at half capacity. And so we really got to go up to Sacramento and do some lobbying up there to be able to help change the rules and the regulations of the state to allow us in this water crisis to use the full capacity of that desalter plant.
Is that something that a city councilman would do, would go on behalf of the city
Yes.
to Sacramento?
That's correct.
I'm a little bit of a political idiot when it comes to the little ins and outs of it. So that's why I'm asking these questions. Because if I had these questions, I'm sure you guys do.
Definitely.
Okay, that's really cool. So tell me about Camarillo Springs. If you live in Camarillo Springs, you probably already know what this is. But for those people who don't live in Camarillo Springs, maybe just right outside, tell us what Camarillo Springs is and what is your stance on this?
Camarillo Springs is a beautiful community in Camarillo at the bottom of the grade. I've lived there for about 16 years of my life. I've moved from Central Camarillo out there when the new homes were built right behind the market there. And I'm in a unique position because I live right on the golf course. And so because of that, I really won't have a vote for the development that is currently planned for that community right now. And I've come out for and against this development. The reasons I came out against it is because I wanted 18 holes of golf, and I didn't want this.
Spoken like a true golfer.
Definitely. and I didn't want this, it would literally be in my backyard where I live right now. And so I came out against it. And then looking at the things that they're planning, the developers planning on doing with the new facilities upgrades there to the golf course, looks good. But still, I would like the 18 holes. The one issue that I still have with it is, and I'm not sure that they're going to be able to mitigate this feasibly, is the water runoff. The golf course floods now. You'd have to increase the Canal Creek over there. Clayus Creek, you'd have to have a huge infrastructure, about $10 million worth of infrastructure that may not be feasible for a developer to build those homes and do the infrastructure that's needed to put those homes there.
Do you have environmental issues with, if you were able to expand that creek, would there be environmental issues that you'd have to combat?
I think there's a lot of environmental issues and unforeseen environmental issues that really need to be mitigated and thought out. And I don't know if we're there yet.
Okay. Well, hopefully something can be done about that at some point. And
either way, I won't have a vote on it. So I'm in a niche position because I'm the one council member that will have to recuse themselves from any communication or vote on this subject.
So you really have to stay impartial to the subject and really focus on the facts of the matter and how it impacts the community as a whole, not you as an individual.
That's correct.
Which is actually a really, really good thing. You don't want somebody who is so one-sided on an issue like this. And it's a big issue if you live in Camarillo. So now we all know government, especially local city governments, have a ton of red tape and it's really, really annoying. And how do you plan on opening those lines of communication between your business constituents, owners, and your city leaders, your city staff? Like, how are you going to open that up?
I think I'm in a unique position because I've been working with the city now for 20-something years in regards to running businesses, operating contracts with the city, doing development within the city on properties. So, and I've been through 4 different city managers, multiple city planners, multiple different department heads with public works. And I've seen the good and the bad, and I've seen what works and what doesn't work within the city. And the one thing that I noticed that does work is a good open line of communication with the Chamber of Commerce and the City of Camarillo, the staff, the city manager, the council members. We used to have an economic development committee meeting when I was the chairman of the board for the Chamber of Commerce. And I'd like to bring that back because that allowed constituents, the chamber, and to meet on a bi-monthly basis with city staff, the city manager, the city council members, and to go over different planned projects, developments, and really have a good open line of communication about what's going on in the city and what needs to happen to be able to help the city thrive. And we need to bring that back. That's been dissolved for about 10 years.
Yeah.
And it's been a key piece of what's been missing with that open line of communication between the constituents and the businesses and the city.
And just to give you an example, we all know through COVID we had such a big breakdown in communication. And for you parents out there, you saw this happen with your kids when they're sitting at home, not communicating face to face with teachers and having to go through, loops and hoops and whatevers. And when that communication breaks down, then they break down. And the same thing goes for our city levels. When the communication breaks down at the top, it trickles down to all of us. And so we need to keep these lines of communication open, which I think is so amazing that this is actually important to you. Because I feel like so many times it's so one-sided and so my way or the highway, as opposed to communicating and trying to come up with things that we can all agree on.
It's an essential part of what we need. I truly believe that staff has been driving the narrative and the agenda, and for the city council members and even for the department heads. And I truly believe that we need to reverse that. We need the council members communicating with the constituents and the business people to really drive the agenda for the city of Camarillo. Mm-hmm. And with that open line of communication, we can get that back and going again and get it in the right direction.
I love it, and I'm so excited for your journey. And to wrap this up, I just wanted to learn at least one fun fact about you, something that maybe not everybody knows, maybe something I don't know.
I was a state champion wrestler, and also coached. I was also on the USA wrestling team. I travel around the world representing the city of Camarillo, wrestling in other countries. I also coached 2 Ultimate Fighting champions in the UFC, Chuck Liddell and Glover Teixeira.
Wait, who is it? Chuck Liddell?
Chuck Liddell and Glover Teixeira.
There you go.
I've coached both of them, and they both became UFC champions. And I love sports. I love youth sports. I coached YMCA soccer. I coached youth football, flag football. And I just love our community. I've coached wrestling at Kimmer High School for the last 22 years, helping the youth of the community. So
not only is he smart and he wants to run for city council, he's an active person, which is amazing. You need well-rounded people. You can't just have these people that just are only good at one thing. You want well-rounded people in these types of positions because they understand life. So Chuck, thank you so much for coming and hanging out with me.
Thank you,
and if you guys have any questions whatsoever for myself or for Chuck, aka Charles Sandlin, you can visit him at any of the social media or email sites that I will leave in the bio. So thank you again.
Thank you, Christine.
And have a wonderful afternoon, guys. Bye.